Hello and welcome to the DARTS show. Now, it's been a busy start to the year with players battling it out for tour cards. We've seen two big televised events underway, and world number one Michael van Gerwen started 2017 with a big target on his back. Now, we've got loads to bring you on today's show. Here's what's on the way. Q School saw a record number of players trying to get their tour cards.
You're good enough, you'll make it.
Michael van Gerwen was back to defend his title at the Unibet Masters.
They're all hungry again and they all want to beat me.
Phil Taylor had a big announcement.
I want to go on holiday. I want to go places I've never seen in my life, like home.
The Betway Premier League kicked off and the UK Open qualifiers got underway.
So many good players, it's unreal.
I'm joined by darts reporter Dan Dawson and former Players Champion Paul Nicholson. Welcome to the show, guys. Now, to say that 2017 has been a busy start to the year is pretty much an understatement, Paul, isn't it?
Yeah, massive understatement. We've had the start of the Premier League, we've had the culmination of UK Open qualifiers, Q School and the Masters, of course. So it just goes to show how busy the calendar is now, because you've got that to start the year, and it's just going to get better from there, Dan.
Yeah, just desperate to see some action. We've had plenty of it already. You look at the players who've started strongly. Peter Wright you'd have to include in there. Michael van Gerwen's been spectacular at times, and then he's had a couple of surprising defeats, so it's all to play for.
Well, let's take a look at the order of merit then, because there hasn't really been a huge amount of changes at the top there, has there?
No, not really. Peter Wright, despite his money, hasn't really moved around. Dave Chisholm and Phil Taylor very close together. This is after the UK Open qualifiers, of course. And Simon Whitlock, 4 titles in as many months. He's probably going to be higher than 16 if he carries on like that. Yeah,
and with Simon winning a couple of UK Open qualifiers as well, he really doesn't want to lose that top 16 spot in the world, and what better way to do that than to start winning tournaments again?
Absolutely. Well, that's the players at the top of the rankings, but what about the players that are starting from scratch? Well, they have to head to Q School to get a tour card. Now, it's a great opportunity for amateurs to break onto the darts circuit, and for the professionals that have dropped down the rankings, it's their chance to win back a tour card. Now, Dan was en route and went to Wigan to report on how Q School works. Paul was also there in a bid to win back his card.
Well, just last month at the prestigious Alexandra Palace, we saw Michael van Gerwen win his second World Championship title. And if you want to be playing MVG on a regular basis or make the Ali Pali yourself, you've got to get a tour card. That happens at Q School, and that happens right here in Wigan, in the shadow of the DW Stadium, home to Wigan Athletic Football Club and the Wigan Warriors.
It's the dream factory, isn't it? This is where everybody who has the aspiration to be Michael van Gerwen, be Gary Anderson, be Phil Taylor, this is where they have to start out. You know, our Q School, I think we've got over 430 players here, and it's fantastic to see them all in action.
Each day we have 4 winners. They all get tour cards outright, but at the end of the 4 days there are 12 more tour cards to dish out. However far you go on each day gives you a number of points, and the ones with the most points gets a card.
Well, Q School's great because everyone gets a chance to be a Michael van Gerwen. This is the first stepping stone. You come in here with over 400 other people. If you're good enough, you'll make it.
Day one saw a record field in action, and the winners were all amateurs. The final tour card winner of the day was Scotland's Jim Brown, and it was an emotional moment for the 45-year-old from Hamilton.
I came here to probably not expecting to get a tour card. I knew I could play good darts at the right time, but about 6 months ago my wife passed away, and she'd always pushed me to go. She's like, you need to give this a try, go to the Q School. You know, she loved the darts and the telly, you know. I just thought, 46, I'm not getting any younger. You've got to go and test yourself against the best, basically. I just couldn't believe it, but I think it will sink in when I get back. And then, obviously, when you go and play these guys, it'll be a massive challenge. As I said, when I won this, I might not even win a game in the Pro Tour, but I'll go and give it a bash, you know what I mean?
As Q School played out, emotions were running high as all the players made a bid for a tour card. The last day and the last chance for a tour card loomed. As players dropped out, they eagerly watched the rankings to see if they'd done enough to win a card. Those that celebrated wins on day 4 and who automatically won tour cards included the Darts show's own Paul Nicholson.
It hasn't been easy. I mean, a lot of people have said to me that, you know, are you nervous about Q School? And they said it's really, really hard. But today I thought, you know what, I'm going to break some hearts today. And I wanted to win to take something forward, and that's exactly what I've done.
German youngster Martin Schindler was thrilled to win the final automatic tour card of the day.
Now I'm on the big circuit, play against Van Gerwen, Anderson, Taylor, each of them, and I'm happy now, really, really happy. Big step for me.
Well, that's it for Q School 2017, done and dusted. 450 people came here to Wigan to chase their dream of becoming a PDC pro, and as the arena's dismantled around me, congratulations to the 28 who did make it and now get the chance to see if they can mix it with the big boys.
Well, what a huge achievement that was. Congratulations to you, Paul.
Thank you very much indeed. It was a very, very difficult thing for me to do, to go to Q School and re-establish myself. But like I mentioned in last month's Dart show, it was all about leaving your reputation at the door and starting again. And I played some very good games, and turning up on the Sunday, I had a lot of points in the bag, but I didn't want to just rest on my laurels and think that's enough. I went in on that Sunday, on the final day, just to say, you know what, I want to win this, and I did.
Yeah, well, congratulations to you. It's amazing. Now, Dan, the hard work starts here, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But look what it means to somebody like Jim Brown, who has said, I may not win a leg on the Pro Tour, but he's earned that right to go and give it a go and go up against Van Gerwen and Anderson. There were literally tears in his eyes when I spoke to him that he'd earned that chance, and it just meant a lot to him. It does mean a lot to these guys. So, yeah, it's not going to be easy, but you know, something that they can hold up and say they've achieved something.
Absolutely. Well, those players will certainly be looking forward to competing with the very best this year. However, there are some tournaments that only the top players are invited to, and one of those is the Unibet Masters. Now, it was the first televised tournament of the year, and once again, Michael Van Gerwen showed his pure class. The fifth staging of the Unibet Masters took place in January at the MK Arena. Michael Van Gerwen was back and ready to make a bid for his third successive title. He began his campaign against former European champion Simon Whitlock, and the world #1 continued his winning streak with a 10-6 victory.
And the world champion gets there in the end.
Then MVG averaged 107 in his 10-4 win against Mensur Suljovic.
Double 9. And there it is, a terrific performance.
The semi-final saw the world #1 defeat former world champion Adrian Lewis.
Another one of those for the match, and Michael Van Gerwen completes a convincing victory. And Van Gerwen goes through to the final to take on Gary Anderson.
But the Dutchman saved his best performance till last.
For the title. For the title. Double 14, and Michael Van Gerwen makes it a memorable Masters hat-trick in Milton Keynes.
Well, that win saw Michael Van Gerwen secure the £60,000 Masters title for a third straight year. I mean, is this man unstoppable?
Yes, in a word, pretty much. Even if he does have a bad weekend, and there aren't many of them, it's usually in floor events. We saw that the first weekend of the UK Open qualifiers. But for the big TV events, he just seems incredible at being able to produce at the right times. And longer formats obviously helps him. He's undoubtedly the best player in the world. He did say that Gary Anderson is the main guy who can match him on a consistent basis, but he keeps beating Gary Anderson. He keeps beating him in big TV tournaments.
Well, there was another huge announcement at the Masters. Phil Taylor announcing his retirement.
Yeah, we've been speculating over the last couple of years as to when he was going to put his darts on the table, but now he's actually come out and said that he is going to stop playing competitive darts at the end of 2017. So for those guys who've just got tour cards and the guys who've never beaten him before, they've only got limited windows to actually pick up that elusive victory. But it's a big announcement because the best person who's ever thrown a dart is finally going to put them down and concentrate on doing other things.
Well, we were lucky enough to have a chat with Phil Taylor after he'd announced his retirement.
It's last year for me. At the end of the year, that's me done.
We spent the day with a 16-time world champion in Newcastle as he greeted the media and prepared for his last Premier League season.
Phil Taylor, 30 seconds to answer as many quick-fire questions as you can.
I'm getting old. I just want to hang my slippers up now. Hang my darts up so I can put my slippers on.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Trek. My favourite place to practice is in my little garage with my son at home.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs. But the people that know me all know that it's the right time now.
Are you going to win Betway?
Am I going to win it? Yes. Most people don't want me to retire. They say, I'll never watch darts again, and as you do, and you'll miss it. I will miss it, yeah. But there's other things now that I want to do, and I want to slow down now.
Just squeeze in, squeeze in, squeeze in. And now it's mug shot.
Sorry. Sugar plum.
Stacking bowlies on behind.
There'll be another generation come through soon, and it's great to think this is what you started with John Lowe and Eric Bristow and Cliff Lazarenko and whatnot, and Keith Deller and Dennis Priestley again and Rod, and you know, it's brilliant.
Yeah, because you're the last one of the original 16 still competing.
I'm the last one. Save the best of the last, eh? I'd love to win the Premier League, Blackpool, but I'd love to go and have a good run of the World Championship. Done. That'll do me.
Where's Lawrence? He's there.
Phil, in front of Peter, please.
Are you going to hold this for a little moment?
Big smiles. To me, I'd say the Premier League is harder than the World Championship. Because, you know, the Worlds you can win over 2 weeks. With this, you can't. It's over 4 or 5 months, you know, and you've got to keep your form up for 4 or 5 months. So it's harder than the World Championship. It's the best tournament there is.
You played here before?
No. Good. I used to come watch the boxing here. But the only thing I was worried about is coming to an age where I'm going to retire and being ill. Like my father died at 57 and I'm 57 this next year. So thinking, I don't want to do that, do you know what I mean? And work all my life and be the richest man in the creme. I didn't want to do that, so I thought, right, now's the time, while I'm young enough, to spend time with my grandkids. You know, I just want to do other things now.
Thank you. Have a nice Christmas.
Well, Paul, we're certainly going to miss him on the darts circuit. He's put darts on the map, hasn't he?
He put darts where it is right now, and we have to pay a lot of credit to him because his form in the 1990s and the early 2000s has brought darts from the dark ages back to where it belongs, in the mainstream. As players, we really are glad to see the back of him because he's taken a lot of money from us over the years. But he deserves all the credit he gets because he put in the hard yards, and all of the titles that he has, he really has deserved them.
Yeah, no, he seems so relaxed now. He's performed well in the first few weeks of the Premier League, Dan.
Yeah, he has. You know, as things stand, he's unbeaten in the Premier League with us recording this now, but he'll want a big fairy tale ending to his career. He'll want a 17th world title, and he said that he wants the Premier League and the match play and just a good run at the Worlds. But he will want that 17th world title. Whether he gets it or not, he doesn't get to choose. It's sport, but probably deserves it. There's a lot of very, very capable players out there, though.
Now, before the break, we're going to leave you with a little teaser. We're going to rewind back to the World Cup of Darts from 2012 when South Africa took on Wales. Now, your job is simple. All you have to do is guess what happens next. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Bullseye for the match. Oh, how close was that? Now an opportunity for Devon Peterson. He's missed the outer ball. Still going to get a shot at a double as long as he can hit big 17. Here comes Michael van Gerwen.
The PDC Darts UK Open 2017. The party starts here. Starts today at 11:45.
Welcome back to the Darts Show. Now, coming up, Paul's going to be giving us some top tips from our monthly Darts School. But before the break, we played you a little teaser, and all you had to do was guess what happens next. Well, did you guess it right? Let's take a look.
He's missed the outer ball. Still going to get a shot at a double as long as he can hit big 17. Still will get one dart. No, he's miscounted. 51. He's miscounted. What a time to miscount. He wanted 49, not 39 with 2 darts. Not 7 double 16 Devon, it was 17 double 16. What a mistake. Oh dear. Double 8 for Burnett.
Game shot.
Wells and Shrill, where the skin in their teeth.
Well, what a time to miscount there for Devon Peterson, which actually cost South Africa a place in the semi-final. Devastated. But it just goes to show even the top players at the top tournaments can make mistakes. Now, to help you at home from making any blunders, we've got Paul Nicholson here. He's going to give us some top tips from our monthly Darts School.
There are many ways to hold the dart, but it's really all about how you feel comfortable. But here are some pointers. There are 3 components: the thumb, the forefinger, and the middle finger. Now, with the thumb and the forefinger, you can see that these are used as thrusters. These are the 2 components that will actually propel the dart into the air. The middle finger can be used as a stabilizer. My middle finger is on the point, but you can use it anywhere on the dart to keep it still before you throw it. Here are the grips from some top professionals. World #1 Michael van Gerwen, winner of 2 world titles, holds the dart like this. Very conventional, has 2 thrusters, thumb on the dart at the very back of the barrel, but he has this middle finger on the point at the end so that he can keep it nice and stable. One thing I will say about Van Gerwen, holds the dart very lightly and it comes out of his hand like a feather. Adrian Lewis uses his thumb as a stabilizer and a thruster. He twists his dart in his hands like this and uses his middle finger and 3rd finger as a stabilizer, and he crunches his hand just like that before he throws it. Gary Anderson has a very conventional grip with a twist. As you can see, his middle finger is used here to stabilize the dart on the point. The thumb is towards the back of the barrel, but when he does this little twist before he throws, it becomes a bit more ingrained in the grooves, and that's when he thrusts it forward with all 3 fingers. There's how the pros do it, but it really is up to you what you do from there. Get out there, try some different grips and some different darts. I wish you good luck.
Well, thanks to Paul for the top tips there. Now back to the news on the darts circuit, and the UK Open qualifiers got underway where amateurs and professionals made a bid for a place in the TV finals. Now once again, Dan was on the road to give us an insight into how the event plays out.
Well, they call this the FA Cup of Darts. It's a chance for amateurs to rub shoulders with the top players in the world at the UK Open finals in Minehead. Last year there, we saw a bin man beat the world champion, Barry Lynn, knocking out Gary Anderson. Magic of the Cup. But for the pros, it's 6 qualifying tournaments right here in Wigan that decide the 96 places available to them. As for the amateurs, their dream starts in Riley's clubs up and down the country.
This is a massive thing for Riley's. We look forward to it from one year to the next, and all the players that come to play in it, it's really, really special for us.
There were 4 weekends of action at Riley's venues across the UK. Entry cost just £6 per person and could be a chance of a lifetime for those winning through to the TV final. Back in Wigan, and even the big stars of the game need to qualify for this event. One of those included Michael van Gerwen, who amazingly hit 2 9-darters on the way to securing his place at the UK Open.
He couldn't, could he? He couldn't, could he? He could. He has! Michael van Gerwen fires in 2 9-dart finishes in the same match.
Well, that was it for MVG. 2 9-darters in an 8-leg match. He won the tournament, got on a plane, flew home and put his feet up. We had a couple of wins for Peter Wright, a couple of wins for Simon Whitlock, but today, in the final qualifying tournament, there is still a lot to be decided.
If you look around now, this is where we have to qualify, you know. In my beginning years in the PDC, we still did that in pubs, so it was way different than now.
There's so many good players struggling to get into the later stages of tournaments because there's so many good players. It's unreal.
You know, so every single of these players in here, they are prepared, they are ready. So for the first 2 rounds, you need to play close to 100 average, otherwise you've got no chance.
As players were knocked out, they nervously checked the standings to see if they'd done enough to make the TV finals. Someone who celebrated success was Peter Wright. He won the final qualifying day, making it 3 wins out of the 6 qualifying events.
I've always struggled with the UK Opens, but I approached it in a different way this year. I actually went, then goes on my rankings instead of just like turning up, so it's really weird. So I've been texting Simon and keeping we're having our little battle between us and that, and texting him and saying, I'm after you and he's after me, and so yeah, I'll beat you, Simon.
Now the field for the Coral UK Open has been confirmed, and a total of 128 players will compete at Butlins Minehead Resort.
Well, we saw some fantastic results and more than 2 9-darters, Dan.
Yeah, 6 events, 6 9-darters. Obviously the 2 from MVG, but we saw Christian Kist hit one, Ted Evitts, Darren Webster threw one, and then about an hour later he got one back at him from Ronnie Hybrex. The standard over the 2 weekends was phenomenal, as this man will tell you, because didn't make it through to Minehead.
No, I didn't make it through this time, purely because the class of the other players was better than mine. And I think it goes to show how things have progressed with the Challenge Tour and Q School over the course of the last few years, because the standard now is even higher. It's even harder to get into the tournament, never mind be one of the top 32 who actually go through to round 3.
Interestingly, Michael van Gerwen's name is not top of the list.
No, he's not, and the main reason for that is that Peter Wright has played better than him. He won half of the events and got a first win over MVG in, 18 months. He deserves to be at the top of the UK Open Order of Merit. The top 32 there, though, the sort of top seeds for the tournament, there's a few names perhaps he wouldn't have expected. Rob Cross and Ryan Searle. Ryan Searle had one great run. Rob Cross was brilliant right the way through. Both guys who came off the Challenge Tour last year.
Yeah, the Challenge Tour really has fed this system very well, and obviously with people like Chris Quantock coming through the Challenge Tour as well, and Big Mick Todd from the Midlands, who a lot of people know something about, but this is a real breakthrough qualification criteria for Mick, so he's got an opportunity to go into round 3 and see what he can do.
Well, the events are coming in thick and fast. Let's take a look at the darts calendar for March. Premier League darts continues as the players return to Glasgow, and the tournament is back in Rotterdam for the 2nd year running. Then it's Manchester's turn to host the event. The European Tour kicks off in Hildesheim, Germany on the 23rd of March. And then the Premier League is back in Cardiff for Judgment Night, where 2 players will be eliminated from the event. So, guys, what are you most looking forward to over the next month?
Well, for me, it's all about Rotterdam. Last year, it had its debut on the Premier League circuit. And I think the crowd participation aspect from last year, when Barney really had the most amazing reception, and I just can't wait to watch with 3 Dutch players on that stage.
Yeah, it's going to be epic. And what about yourself, Dan?
Euro Tour, hands down. Can't wait for it to get started. Hildesheim, the first one, big crowds, sort of weird mix of darts and cheesy Euro pop tunes. And we've got slightly different qualifying criteria as well. So a Nordic qualifier and East European qualifier, could see some new faces. And who knows, maybe we uncover another Mensur Suljovic. We could have 2 of them.
We could potentially have a Scandinavian Suljovic.
Oh, so you would love that.
I would love that.
Special.
Oh, it could happen.
It could. Well, we shall see. Well, it's been an action-packed show today. Make sure you join us next month for all the up-to-date news from the world of darts. For myself, Dan and Paul, thanks so much for joining us. See you next time.